My name is Nick Linford. I'm Director of Planning Performance at Lewisham College, and in the last few months I've been involved in a very exciting project to publish a book on funding, for some people an introduction to funding who've never been involved, and equally for others more detailed information about funding, where it comes from, how much for each qualification, very visual, lots of diagrams, really to unpick some of the complications or complexities as they're often referred to in the LSE's own guidance, and try and put them in a language and a way of describing them that maybe can be easier to interpret, to understand, and also from a provider perspective to an extent. So I've been working with Edexcel, who have published this with Pearson's, who own Edexcel, and it's been out now for 2 weeks. It's going very, very well. Lots of great feedback. I'm told even the LSE are purchasing copies to hand around their offices to help them understand their own guidance, which is mildly amusing, but great. And like I say, the plan is to keep going with this book, and then there'll be updates. This is particularly for 0809 on the funding and the way that the funding comes. You've got stuff on diplomas, the BTECs, apprenticeships, train to gain, A-levels, the full range, E2E, and quite a lot of information about the context in terms of funding as well, where it's coming from, the 2 new government departments, the direction of travel in terms of funding, so not just the policies, but some of the increasing demands with regard to employer responsive funding, etc. So where the money's going, direction of travel. And the idea would be to do annual updates, and then, like I was mentioning earlier, maybe even a professional development qualification for people in the sector, in schools, training providers and colleges for whom this is aimed, that they could come do some units even on the new qualification and credit framework that's being introduced, in introduction to funding, maybe introduction to student data, and so on, as a future project. But for now, this is the book. As I say, it's going down very, very well. Lots of, as I say, images, pictures. I was just explaining on the apprenticeships. There's a nice section here on train to gain and apprenticeships. So you can see showing how apprenticeships are made up in curriculum terms, which is quite useful for people to understand about the various elements of apprenticeships and what goes into a framework. But also talking about how the money is earned. So how it comes in on a monthly basis, how the different elements are funded from the MVQ and framework payment through to the technical certificates and the key skills. And as I say, very visual, lots of images, diagrams. This example is a Skills for Life, as you see here, just dipping in throughout key skills and how entitlement is funded, which is lots of questions there with the diagrams, right through to tips and hints. So funding optimization is quite a popular topic in terms of how do they make sure they get enough funding for the courses, and some top tips on funding optimization. Performance monitoring, the new framework for excellence, so quite a broad range. And as I say, starting at the beginning, right at the start, with information on where the money is coming from, as I say, the context. So you've got here the information about, for example, the Learning and Skills Council, what they're up to at the moment, and obviously information as well about what's coming down the line with things like the Skills Funding Agency, etc. So it's designed as a guide, a handy guide, and it's been referred to as a lifesaver, which was quite a compliment by the FE Focus, by their editor Steve Hook. And he said, I think I've got a quote from him here where he says, "My copy is close at hand." So the idea is this slips into your briefcase, and you whip it out when you're a bit confused about something, or you want to have particular knowledge, or appear even to have a particular knowledge about something, if that's the case. And you can dip in, dip out as a reference tool. And that's the concept. It's really a reference tool on a very complex subject, but designed to be slipped away here and then whipped out. Standard learner numbers, what are those again? And you can just have a look it up, and it explains it all in hopefully quite straightforward and simple language. Well, it retails for $11.99, and the web address is up here. You can order it online at edexcel.org.uk/funding. There's also a dedicated website where you can find out more, which is quite easy to remember. It's www.fundingguide.co.uk, all one word, with 2 G's in the middle, fundingguide.co.uk. And sales are going really well. As I say, it's been on the market for just 2 weeks. I'm told by the people at Longman's, who it's sold through, and Pearson's, that we're in the thousands already, well over 1,000 sold. And a lot of people are saying they're buying 1 or 2, evaluating it, and then they're going to buy maybe 20, 30 for all their senior managers and their governors. So I think it's going well, and it's, as I say, it's targeted right across training providers, colleges and school sixth forms, because it all relates to them now. So it's a big market, and hopefully will be really helpful to them moving forward in quite a new world on funding.